Good morning. Can you hear my voice?
Absolutely fine, Lippy. And I think Samit, if you can just unmute yourself, that's the best part of it, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. No, thank you for having us, and good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having us. It's amazing to be here. So, no, really looking forward to this.
Thank you so much. The stage is all yours.
Thank you, and welcome to Pakistan User Group, or all listeners tuning in for Pakistan User Group. I'm going to share my screen now. Let me know when you can see my screen. Kumar, if you can give me a hands up. Okay,
We can absolutely see your screen now. Thanks.
brilliant. Okay, so let us first introduce ourselves and put that into. So I'm Lippy Sarkar. I'm Digital Transformation Director working at CloudSource. I'm ex-KPMG, and I've also been a co-author of the book Building a Digital Future with my co-author Vinny Bansal. And we are talking to you from UK. Sumit, do you want to cover your side?
Yeah, no problem. So my name is Sam Saini. I work for London Heathrow Airport. I've been working there for 16 years now, and I'm a solution specialist at Heathrow Airport by finding solutions using the Power Platform, and also training people to start their digital career as well. So if you have an idea at Heathrow, I'm here to support you and bring your idea to reality. And that's me.
Brilliant. So, without further ado, we want to talk about how to stay ahead of the curve in digital disruption and digital adoption. By that, we want to unpack a little bit in terms of what we mean by digital transformation. So we want to talk about the first thing we want to talk about is what is digital transformation and why you need it. Then we would also like to cover the digital maturity and roadmap. By that, we mean how to assess your digital maturity in your organization and how to define a roadmap from there. Then we will also cover Power Platform and Power Apps, and this is how you use Power Platform and what we can do with Power Platform, empowering our organization, empowering the workforce. And finally, the last bit is about the digital governance. Because once you have done all of it, what kind of level of governance do you want to implement on top of it? So, on this session, you have a chance to win a copy of my book, Building a Digital Future. We are giving out 4 copies, so keep an eye in terms of the question. We will ask the question towards the end of the session. Brilliant. Okay. So moving on to digital transformation. So, Satya has said, like, we have seen 2 years worth of digital transformation in 2 months with the pandemic. And we have seen remote working, we have seen remote education, we have seen remote working through the doctors and nurses. We have seen in so many industries, and, you can see some examples, fantastic examples. And obviously the retail is another example that we have seen, the digital transformation has been accelerated. People, and it has been accepted worldwide. So they also said over the next 10 years, we will reach a point where nearly everything has become digitized. So, what does that mean is when we talk about digital transformation, it is mainly to analyze your organization's business, whether it's a B2B, business to business, or business to customer services, whether you want to enhance the customer experience or internal operational efficiencies, and rethink about the model, rethink the ways of working, rethink the ways you are reaching out to customer. So that's what digital transformation is. It's not what it is not about upgrading from one platform to another platform, or upgrading from one version of Dynamics to another version of Dynamics. It might be there, but it's mainly about the benefit that you are giving to the customers. That what can we do for using the technology, what can we deliver, what benefits are we delivering. Now, if we are thinking about key drivers for the digital transformation, it's mainly about, I have listed a couple of it, but you might think about so many different kind of drivers that is pertaining to your organization. One of the key things that we have seen is rising customer expectations. Now, today's world, customer is time poor. By that, I mean everything is happening by apps. You can call a cab. You can order your food through app. You can make an appointment through an app, and whatnot. So it's rising customer expectations, and is your organization geared for that? Speed is happening. Speed is more important than ever before, and the delivering the services with speed is also important. Then customer insight. Do we have the customer insight? Do we have the 360-degree view of the customers? Where the touch points of your organization? Do you have all the views of the customer? So for example, if one business unit want to go and talk to a client and another business unit want to talk to the client, do they have a view what kind of information has been shared? And do the touch points on so that it doesn't look bad on the organization when two different teams are reaching out to the customer, talking about different benefits, talking about different areas of the organization. So hence it's important to key that to remember all these key drivers and to think about defining the strategy of your digital transformation. And disruption is happening everywhere, whether you've seen that through pandemic or it has been earlier, like Kodak company. I can give so many examples, but let's take the printing business. Let's take the photography business. So it has always been disrupted. So how is the organization geared up for the disruption? So there will be competitors. There will be new markets. Do you want to enter into the new markets? Do you want to create a new business model of operating? New channels of operation. If you are in retail, do you have retail channels through mobile, through apps, through digital channel? So we have to think all of it. When we think all of it, take into a perspective and define our processes and define a business model to enter into that new market, to cater for that, to deliver that benefit. That's what we mean by digital transformation. If you look into our book, we have tried to, in our chapter 1, we have tried to cover that digital transformation in details, and we have taken insights from different industries, thought leaders. Then the next slide is talking about, and this is not just Dynamics, this is talking about different businesses that have gone into different ways of working. So some of the examples you might already know, and this is from UK, and some I have picked up some local example as well, like Dukan in Pakistan. It's an e-commerce retail channel, and it's about doing business in a different way. And if anyone coming into setting up a retail market, they will have this app ready. Then, for example, G&J, Pepsi, Hickory Farms, Tillamook, you will find the case studies in our book and what were the challenges that they have come across and what they have done with Dynamics. And this is pertaining to the challenges that they have covered, the benefits they have delivered. In some cases, the benefits are very, how you empower your workforce. When you go into digital transformation, you need to think about how you prepare your organization, whether the leadership team knows where to start and where to go, whether it's a 1-year journey or whether it's a 2-year journey. It's thinking about that roadmap upfront. And again, we'll talk about London Heathrow because we have got fantastic speaker, Samit Saini, who will talk about the London Heathrow and how we have empowered the workforces. But there are so many examples like Breville, Stay Michelle, Wine Estates, Airbnb. So everyone has disrupted the business, the normal ways of working, and have done it differently. The next one I wanted to talk about is digital maturity and the roadmap. And by that, you need to assess where the strength on capabilities of your organization. So I want to introduce a map or a scale. This is called digital maturity scale. And on the left-hand side, you can see on the horizontal axis, we have the operational efficiency. So one is traditional ways of doing things, and then is how you're transforming your business. And on the vertical axis, we have the customer experience. There's this traditional way of doing things and how you're transforming. Now, stage 1 is about how you're bringing your digital assets and optimize the existing IT, move into the infrastructure, and experiment with new on-core applications in the cloud to save IT operating costs. So if you have not thought about anything, so sometimes, organizations think about, okay, let's put our digital assets in the cloud and use the core application in the cloud and think about moving forward in the stage 2 with some digital experience. And stage 2 comes in where you optimize your current business model. move your core business data and processes into cloud-based applications, and to achieve operational excellence. By that time, once you have moved from digital assets to digital experience, you might have set up a center of excellence within the organization. And how you gear up with that is the final stage is digital transformation, where you create new business models. You think about new channels, you think about new markets. So some organization, we can see that they have moving from digital assets to stage 1 to stage 2 to stage 3. Some organizations are already there. Some organizations are far behind. So we need to think about how we can bring that journey together. And it's about working out the key changes, the key drivers behind the business. Now, I would like to ask a question to Sumit. What do you think about London Heathrow? Do you see in any of the stages, where do you see London Heathrow in the digital scale?
I would say we're definitely at the digital transformation stage still. You know, we're still learning, we're still growing, and it's been amazing because we got all these new applications coming in. But for us, it's not just about the technology; it's about the people. And when the people come up with an opportunity to use these applications, this is when we can transform. So for us, it's definitely where we are with digital transformation.
Absolutely. And it's brilliant in terms of seeing that how we are growing with people, because your strength and your capability is your workforce. And you need to identify how you need to work together. And that helps along the journey. And digital transformation is not about 3 months program or 6 months program. It is a continuous improvement. And how you can build that roadmap to go through that continuous roadmap. And then the next target is this is the roadmap. This is not to say that this is the final all the items, but you can create your own operating model. You can create your own digital roadmap. This is just a synopsis in terms of how and when and where to go. So if you have defined your target in terms of whether you want to improve your business efficiency, or you optimize your business processes, or you want to improve the customer experience, that might be quite a lot to cover in one go, in one phase. So think about which is a priority for your business. Do you want to first think about improving the customer experience? Then that's the roadmap you need to think about. If you want to think about improving the business of operational efficiency, then there is another model that you need to think about. So again, it's up to you. Which one do you prioritize, and what do you want to think about bringing in next, and build that roadmap, year on year. And where do you need to start? You need to think about what are the key drivers for change. Do you need to improve the customer experience? Do you want to counter the disruption? Do you want to go into the new market? Or it could be business impact due to COVID-19, because lots of businesses have geared up and had to react quite rapidly to sustain and to continue with the business, to keep the lights on their business. Once you have done that drivers for change, then you need to think about how to execute the change, whether you prepare your business internally, bringing in consulting partner, or whether you want to engage a delivery partner. I'll get ready for change. And change is a big thing. It's not to be underestimated by any means, because a change could be a very small change, or change could be a very big change. When it's impacting on the organization, you have to always think about what kind of change you're impacting. And then thinking about the defining guiding principles, which you have to set from the very beginning. Then once you have done that, execute the change, and you have to think about the innovations, identify the makers and shakers within the organization, get ready for after you have gone live with the technology. Because in the session, we are also talking about Dynamics. If you're delivering Dynamics or Power Platform, think about how you're going to support after you have gone live with that platform. And build a continuous innovation and improvement roadmap so that helps you to reach your target. And so again, a question to Sumit, in terms of your journey, and in terms of driving the innovation, how do you feel? I mean, are you in the continuous improvement journey?
Absolutely. I'm always learning, and again continuing to help others as well at the same time. And it's great because you don't need a background in solving problems. When you're in an organization that you work in every single day, and you find an opportunity to solve a problem, it's great because then you're part of the solution. You're trying to help yourself, but you help the organization as well. And we all, it doesn't matter what position you are, doesn't matter what type of background you have, you can help improve where you work, basically. And it's really, really great to see. And now we've got this great technology. It's even better now.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sumit. So with that, we move on to the next section, which is about the Power Platform, how and how you are going to use Power Platform and Power Apps to empower your organization. So the floor is all yours, Sumit.
Okay, so yep. So those who don't know me, my name is Sam Matheny. Again, I work at London Heathrow Airport. This is my day-to-day job before Power Platform. I joined Heathrow when I left school when I was 16. I still remember the day when I left school when I was 16. I was called like a duffer to leave school that age. But I said I wanted to follow my dad's footsteps, and he worked in the airport for 27 years. And yes, that was my day-to-day job for 14 years. So, and I loved it. I absolutely loved working at Heathrow Airport, and I still do. My day-to-day job was asking passengers, whoever flies in the airport, you'll see someone like myself, like in that picture, asking you, do you have any liquids, laptops, iPads? Can I search your bag if you left any items in your bag? And yeah, and that was my job. Like I said, I absolutely loved it. This is where I met my wife. She's also a security officer, and we've been married for 10 years. And they call it Heathrow Airport like a small city, and it's a great environment. But how do I go from this to becoming a solution specialist? Is because of one person, our business change manager. Her name is Komal, and she introduced Office 365 to all people, frontline colleagues as well, not just for office workers, and said, you got all these applications available to you, go check it out. So when I finished my shift, I went home, I read a blog that says how you can create an app in 5 minutes. And as soon as I read the blog and created the app, it was so simple steps. It's like open up Excel spreadsheet, create the columns, name the columns, save it to OneDrive, go to the Power Up Studio, open up Excel spreadsheet in the Power Up Studios, and click create. And within seconds, I was able to create my app. I was like, wow, why doesn't no one know this? So I was so empowered that if I can do it, someone who's got no background in IT or in data science or anything like that, if I can create an app, then anybody can create an app. And we don't have a centralized team in Heathrow to build apps. We used to pay externals. We used to pay suppliers to build apps for us at Heathrow. So now, with my new knowledge, I wanted to help others. As a security officer, I said, look, I can do this. You can do it too. I showed it to the IT team, and they said, would you like to join our team for 3 months? I said, absolutely. So I started building a small team without me knowing. People who have got no background in IT, just like myself, I wanted to show them that you can bring your ideas into reality, because sometimes you work in an organization and you have some great ideas, but someone above you or higher than you or smarter than you says to you, it can't be done because it costs too much money, the idea doesn't seem right, we can't see your vision. But now you have the ability to bring your idea, your vision into reality by using Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI, Power Virtual Agents to create your ideas into reality. And these people that you see on the picture, they have no background in IT, but they've been working at Heathrow. They know what would work for them to make their jobs easier. And this is where it's great to share your knowledge with people, because you don't know where the transformation change will happen. For me, it didn't just transform my career; it changed my life completely. And that's why I want to show people that that it doesn't matter what your skill level are like. Anybody can learn this technology and help not just your career, but your organization as well. So it's been absolutely great to see Heathrow grow. We're growing individually. I'm growing every single day. Since the day I learned about building an app, I haven't stopped learning since, and it's given me a passion to learn. And at Heathrow, we have trained over hundreds of people with different backgrounds, with different job titles, to learn how to build apps. We do in-house app training. We do show and tell now. And we've seen people being promoted by learning this skill, by learning this tool, to go in an interview now and say, I can save you time, money, and paper. Because when I built my first app, that's exactly what I did. I showed them that this is what you can build, and this is how much time saving you can have in your organization without costing any money by using Power Platform. And then this is it. We've been training people every single day. But the great thing is, it's not just about building apps. It's about, okay, now we can build apps internally. Is there a structure in place? And now we've built a structure where we look at your ideas and we'll show you, okay, this, we can use this application for this, or this application for that. We will review it. We help you design it so it's branded and so on. My job is not to help you to help build apps for you. I teach you to build apps for yourself so you can teach others. So we help you build it. You document it. So if your app is built, we document it before we launch it. We make sure we test it, pilot it, then we monitor it. So with Power Apps, you can monitor your apps and see how well each app is doing. If it's not doing well, we design it, we build it. If it's doing well, great, we sign it off. And in 3 months' time, we check it again to see if it gets, if the usage is high or low. If its usage is low, we design it, we build it. So, or dismantle it. There's no harm in that, because this platform is great that you can do anything with it. So it's been absolutely great to do that as well. But going back to the first ever app I built was the language app. We at Heathrow Airport uses a language book, and for 2 years I've been saying, look, can we convert this into a app? And when I went to IT, they said no, it costs too much money, we don't find it feasible. I said, okay, fine. My idea goes straight to the graveyard, because that's where most ideas go. Once someone tells you no, it goes straight to the graveyard. But when Power Apps came and I learned my first app, I was like, how easy is this to add pictures, add buttons, without no coding, add videos, and I could build a language app within days. And that's what I did. I took the book home, the language book home, scanned all the pictures, add images into the app, asked my colleague, Mohsin, to speak in Urdu about, how to remove liquids like laptops and iPad in his language, and he did that exactly, and it was amazing. Showed the app to my manager, and he absolutely loved it. Didn't cost anything, no coding is involved, and this is how I started my career, just by building that one simple app within days. So that's one of my favorite apps.
So it's a very good point you mentioned, Sumit. When your idea came up and you were told no, and from that point onward to your first Power App, what was the time frame we are talking about here?
Okay, so 1 month. So when I built this language app, I was asked, during my shift, can I spend 1 hour and go to different departments, from human resources to IT to finance, and show them how easy it is to build Power Apps so they can use it in the department. So that was 1 month. And then after that month, I got the opportunity to say, Samit, would you like to join our IT team? And I said, I would love to, but
Brilliant.
I have weaknesses where I have trouble reading and writing because I'm dyslexic, and I have ADD, attention disorder, deficiency disorder. And she said, she said, look, I'm not looking at your CV or your resume. I'm looking at what you're bringing to Heathrow and to my team, which is experience. You took the time to learn something like Power Apps, which no one has done at Heathrow at the moment. So I would love to have you in on my team for 3 months. Within a month in her team, I was coming up with solutions to remove paperwork and Excel spreadsheets and make it into an app, and put these Excel spreadsheets or these paperwork into a nice data frame where we can visualize that data using Power BI. So I was bringing more value into her team, and this is where my journey even more started, even more grew.
I'm delighted to hear that. I mean, it's so powerful journey, Sumit. So in terms of when you thought about the idea and then you bring that idea to fruition, so it has helped so many people in terms of when you're talking about Power Apps. So it's not just within the department. It's like so many people traveling to Heathrow Airport. It's such a busy airport. So yeah, great.
Yeah, I mean, this tool has been amazing to me and to my colleagues and to anybody who uses it, because I'm a very introvert guy, I'm a very shy guy, but this is how the tools, when I start learning Power Apps, I've been helping. It helps me grow as a person as well. When I built my first app, I wasn't building when I was building this app, the passenger service app, and to remove paperwork. This app wasn't for me; it was for other people. So I had to look at their point of view and see what they wanted in this app. So I had to do stakeholder management, voice of the customer, wireframing. I didn't know none of these tools, but along the line, building apps allowed me to learn new tools as well, and made me more confident in myself as well. So, like I said, yeah, it helps you grow as well as an individual.
Absolutely. Okay, so and you continued your journey for passenger reduced mobility app, and then I can see so many different, you can talk about special assistance app.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is one of them because again, it's one of my first apps. But what I learned is that we use tools like Facebook, Twitter, and other applications that don't need training to use these applications. So when you build an app, my framework was that okay, let's make this app simple, less text, more buttons, and it gets the job done. And this is what we wanted, and that's what people love is simplicity. No training. You don't need to train someone to use an app. You want to make it simple as possible, and that's what Power Apps can do. And you don't need a UX or UI design for that. I don't have it, but it's just making sure that the people that are using it are happy. And yeah, we built apps within minutes or within minutes to months, depending on the app. The app that
And
is
you
needed.
have cut down on a lot of manual paperwork, isn't it, Samit? And
Oh,
if you have to convert that in terms of how many trees you have saved.
absolutely. I mean, so with this app, we save 7,000 sheets of paper a month. The whole process beforehand was a manager would go into the office, go to a desktop, print out 6 or 7 sheets of paper a day, go to terminal 2 to terminal 5, do a lot of checks for different places. One day shift is over, take the piece of paper, give it to the admin person. That admin person would fill in all that information. End of the month, not during the day, end of the month, everyone's piece of paper on an Excel spreadsheet and convert and make it into a pie chart or bar chart. But that was becoming more reactive than proactive. If we made a loss or something, if we were losing equipment, you won't know until the end of the month. But with Power Apps, you eliminate all of that, which is great. And it's fantastic because we're trying to take out the machine out of the person. The person, I haven't seen no person say, "Oh, I'm happy to fill in Excel spreadsheet an average 2 days." Now that person can add value somewhere else. They don't have to spend the whole day inputting Excel spreadsheet. This is where the Power comes in. The example that you see here, Martin Shelley, he had an amazing idea to save money because we used to pay someone £700 a month collecting data for us on a transfer bus. He says, "Samit, can we build this app together to save money?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna build this app. I will teach you." And within 2 weeks, he was able to build the app. He's able to showcase it to his manager. Not only he got promoted, but also saved £700 a month as well. And it was amazing to see because when he first wanted to learn about Power Apps, he goes, "Samit, you heard that trick? You heard that quote? All dogs cannot learn new tricks." But he was able to learn a new trick and is able to build apps. So it doesn't matter what age you are. If you've got a passion for something, if you've got a vision to bring an idea to reality, then nothing should stop you. And this is what
And I
Power.
think
Yeah,
that's really a powerful power platform is so powerful. And Microsoft has introduced this, given the power to the citizen developers, to people who doesn't need the IT technology knowledge, you can build your app from scratch.
absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
and like COVID happened, and it was bad, but we was able to quickly build apps quickly. So we had people like Matt Bourne and people in our organization, not me, but people in our organization were just building apps straight away, well-being apps, remote equipment apps. Those kind of things were built instantly without thinking about how much it's going to cost us, what plan does it do. It was just what do we need, when do we need it, how do we need it, and then that's it. So these things were built instantly. We didn't go for months and months for designing or planning. These are simple solutions for simple outcomes, and it was absolutely great to
Simple
see.
benefit as well to the people. And you have
Absolutely,
built an amazing community. I mean, that's really inspiring for anybody coming into the Power platform and not having technology background. And it's about the community, how you share with community, build with community, and also, amazing. This is so powerful to see that you have got some photos with Satya and lots of community people.
I'll be honest with you. I mean, the community helps me a lot. It's not me. I'm here because of the community. When I used to need help about Power Apps, used to reach out on LinkedIn or Twitter, and I have people, not just one or two people. I have loads of people helping me, which is great. The community at Heathrow helped me a lot, from my managers to my team. I learn from them. I'm growing because of them. I have no background in office work and IT. I'm learning. I'm growing because of because of them, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the community. They ask questions. When they ask questions, if I don't know it, I go and find it. But I grow by people asking questions because I don't have all the answers, and I'm always learning to grow and learn. And you see the pictures here. I mean, that one blog, and I say this to anyone: you don't look at, oh, what's it going to take me the next 5 years if I do this, this, this. For me, when I read that one blog, it was just curiosity. I wanted to read a blog that says I can create an app in 5 minutes. I did that, and it changed my career and my life completely. It made me more confident. I went back to high school and finished my English and maths exam in high school. I failed, but because I had confidence of if I can build an app, I can do anything. So I went back to high school, finished my exams, as you can see there. I went on stage with the CEO of Microsoft, and that was one of my highlights because not because I was just on stage with him, but when I was on stage, I told my mum and dad that I'm going to be on stage, and they didn't believe me at first. But when I told them I'm going to be on live, and I said to my wife, "Here's a link. Don't share it to no one else. Share it to mum and dad." She comes back and says, "By the way, mum shared a link to everyone in India." And I was like, I got really, really nervous. But when this all finished, and I went back to my hotel, and my dad calls me and says, "Samit, I'm really proud of you." To me, that was my highlight of my career because my journey has always been to make my parents proud. And I'd never thought I'd do that. By learning that one blog, I felt like I've done that, and I tell anyone that just learn for, just for curiosity, learn for a passion, because you just don't know where it's going to take you. And as you see there, my personal highlights, there's many more, but these are the highlights that I will always cherish, and I will just continue growing. So
it's so fantastic to share the platform with you and talking with you. And I feel say I'm getting goosebumps hearing about your story. But it's really it's about that point where you get that cues and start getting something building on your own, and the community is there, and you can help with each other in terms of growth. And we are trying to build that community together here with building a digital future. So, Samit, you want to talk about the digital governance also when you have put those power apps in place, what kind of governance you put, and
yeah,
then we will wrap up with our quiz questions.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll show you a quick slide here. Bear with me 1 second. And
I'll stop sharing now.
yeah, so if you can see here, are you able to share? See? Oh, is that? Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
So, the governance in Heathrow is the heart of what we do now. Is absolutely because we look at who's building our apps and how they're building it. So anyone who's got a Heathrow account can build apps within Heathrow, which is fantastic. And let's go here. We get to see, what type of data source someone's building using. Are they using Excel? Are they using SharePoint? Are they using Dataverse? We look at loads of things, and the Centre of Excellence is amazing at Heathrow because, I would say, if you're joining the Power Platform journey, Centre of Excellence is the key because you get to see all these information, who your app makers are, what department they're in, who they're sharing with, how many people they're sharing with, and so on. The trends, how often apps are being built, and that's what we look at. We look at connections, are they using Excel, SharePoint, Twitter, Facebook connections, and so on. We look at the risk as well. The more the app's being shared, the higher the risk, because if something happens, you want to make sure you're on top of it. Help check, does the owner exist still? When is the last time the app been used? Has it been months? Has it been years? If it hasn't been used in years, then let's you stop it and then build something new. And should we archive these apps? We look at security. So people get forms. So as soon as you create an app, they get an email to say, these are our guidelines, these are branding guidelines, these are policies, please fill this information in before you even think about your apps being signed off, and so on. We look at things like, again, when Excel, we tell people that when people use Excel, this is just a starting point for using it to learn, but it's not a good way to for published apps. So it's good for learning, but and nothing else at Heathrow. SharePoint we use, it's not a data source, but it's a great way to store data because it doesn't cost us anything, but it has limitations. It only can hold up to 6,000 rows of data. And Dataverse at Heathrow, we have a great amount of licenses available. but it doesn't you don't just connect to Dataverse, you can connect to other payment connectors as well, which is absolutely great. And then yeah, we've got DLP policy in place where we get to see what connectors are allowed to connect with and what isn't allowed to be connected with. And yeah, the support is more important. It's not about just the technology, it's about giving that support to the people. When someone's new, where do they get that support? So we've got the welcome email, the community meetup, show and tell every month, hub sites, Yammer, Teams. I have a one-to-one catch-up with all new app makers, and to support, I'll do the mentoring, best practices, and sign-offs, all these apps. So, when we're looking at app sign-off and governance, this is what we look at. We look at documentation, we look at branding, we look at data type, we look at connection type, we look at data privacy, and we look at access, who you're sharing these apps with and how. And that's it basically for when it comes to governance. That's just an overview, but there's so much more into it. But I would say governance is important because it helps your community grow, it helps yourself grow. When you have decentralized excellence in place, you get to see who your new app makers are and you want to support them. The future should be that when someone learns an app and how to build it, they pass it forward. So decentralized excellence has been amazing to us.
Thank you so much, Samit. So that brings us to the end of the session, and I would like to, if you have any questions and would like to hear about that. But this is the quiz question: how many colleagues have been trained in Power Apps at Heathrow Airport? So Samit has mentioned that. And the question number 2 is: how many stages of digital maturity scale? If you have gone through, if you have listened to us, so you can put it in the chat window, and we can select the winners, and we will let you know. I see a question coming up in terms of, if you would like to hear a more knowledgeable session. So yes, please reach out to us and we are happy to go through that. Even if it is one-to-one, we are trying to build a community here, and digital transformation is a massive one. If you are thinking about where to start, how to start. So if you have, so people have got that book and they were really interested, but we'd like to hear your views, and we'd like to hear, it's such a big thing about digital transformation. We cannot put everything in the book, and we had to cut down, in our old version, we had to cut down on so many chapters and so many things we would like to share. But yes, there is always a way, there is always a beginning. And I think with this book, we are starting to bring out a new journey. Connect with us. We are here to help you, really. So with that, if any questions, I'm happy to answer them. And if you can, I'll go back to the quiz questions if you have any answers. So please let us know so that we can select some winners.
Yeah, I have a few questions from the audience here. One question was where and how they can buy this book. If you wanna share that.
Absolutely. So you can buy that book from Amazon. And Wiley as well. So Wiley is in US, but you can buy it from Amazon Marketplace. It's available worldwide.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I have one question where someone is asking, like, this is for Samit, like when you met Satya, what you actually told him.
Oh, it was obviously a pleasure to meet him, and I never thought in a million years that I'll be on stage. I never seen a Microsoft event before, so I had no expectations. I was just full of nervousness. But he was such a down to earth person. I just felt calm and relaxed with him, and yeah, I just we're just having a normal conversation about what we've been doing at Heathrow, and I will never forget that day. So yeah, that's all. It's a blur to me now, but it was nice.
Yeah, I think what was I was just thinking, like, what was not to like about this session. I think I learned a lot myself, and I'm pretty sure the audience has the same experience. One question for Leafy, like, do you have any blog or any other like website?
We have created a digital future website. I haven't yet started blogging, but we'll soon. I'm just testing the water, really, to find out how many people would like to hear from me. So yes, I'm quite new and overwhelmed with all the love that I have received after the book has been published. So yeah, I'm very much into writing, so we'll start the blog soon.
Thank you. And yeah, another question. I think it may not be very relevant, but yeah, because of the mood, so people are asking, like, Samit, like, any chances when the we can see the airports back on full capacity. And the second thing is, how that adoption of Power Apps has the connection with the overall COVID situation. Was it is poses a different challenges, or you had like lesser work, or it actually increased your adoption towards it?
Well, the first question, airports will be are opening up soon, so I would love to see all of you again. But our aim is to be safer. So whenever it happens, it happens. But the airport's always going to be there, touch wood, and we'll be flying one day. So yeah, it's getting there, which is good. The adoption is increased because whereas people were looking at other places where they should buy these applications, or you're looking at third parties, because the amount of money is costing to go outside now, we're just fully focused on the platform. It's that now we're increasing more on adoption, because before we weren't using Teams as much as we do now. Now we're dependent on Teams, which has been amazing. Our team's growing. It hasn't decreased in our digital team. So it was just me and my business change manager before. Now we've got more. We've got a SharePoint SME. We've got an Office 365 SME. So it's growing. It's actually growing more, and we are growing more app champions than ever before. Because most people have left or changed positions. So we're getting more people eager to learn this new tool, because there's new ways of working. There's new ways to save money now, even more than ever before. So our adoptions have increased even more now. So watch this space. There'll be more people for building the stuff. So that's great.
Thank you so much. Guys, anything you want to share? Because I can see like some comments in, but they're not like syncing on this platform. But definitely we'll figure out the winners of these questions, like who will give the most realistic answers to these. Any final remarks you want to share before we head up to the small break? Yeah,
absolutely. I just want to say thank you so much for this opportunity. The organizers, everyone who's put the hard work into this. It's been a truly amazing experience, and I wish you all success and grow even more. And looking forward to many years of this, which is going to be, I think, is going to be amazing. And like I said, I'm not a smart guy, and like what I've achieved, anybody else can achieve. I got full support from everyone for my journey, and you can too. It doesn't matter what your background is. So yeah, just keep going. So
absolutely, and I echo that thought. And thank you, Kumar and Fazil, for organizing such a brilliant boot camp. And you have been at the whatever help we needed. So, and thank you for all the listeners and all the comments that you have passed on to us. So share your love on the book as well, and happy to reach out to you and connect to you. So anytime, I'm here to help the community. Thank you, Kumar.
Thank you so much. And we have already received the books which Lippy has just committed for the audience as a gift. So yeah, so you guys are all safe. So we can just ship you, once we will receive your answers in there. Thank you so much, guys. Have a nice rest of the evening or the day.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
All right, so with this, we will now just take a few minutes break, and once we will come back, we will have Dynamics 365